Okay.
If I find my way home, yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy? But you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? But you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? But you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? But you still amaze me. If I find my way home, yeah.
Welcome back to your favorite channel, the PBC. It's your boy PB K9s. December the 23rd, we getting ready for Christmas. We got some dog talk to speak about today. Like I always say to my brothers and sisters out there, man, we're going to rock the rest of the year out. We're going to go hard the rest of the year. A big shout out to everybody taking care of them pets, man. Everybody, them pet lovers across the world. You know, like I always say, it doesn't make a difference what kind of animal you desire to take care of. You know, big shout out to you if you're taking care of that animal, man. We just got some dog talk to talk about today. I got a few questions when it comes to the dog Yellow John that I want to ask y'all brothers and sisters down there that may know, you know. And we'll speak about a little bit about Honey Bunch as well. You know, I'm going to speak about that as well. So like I said, man, y'all just sit tight, get your popcorn out. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk the way we talk, how we talk, when we talk, you know, about these dogs. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is, you know. So like I said, man, y'all come on up here. First thing I want to speak about, you know, I was watching a Big Scratch video about the Big John dogs or the Waccamaw dogs, you know. Good video, you know, good video. But one thing I caught, you know, what you were saying about the dogs, you was showing the article where it said the dogs are malnutritious and all that. And then you were showing the picture where the dog didn't look malnutritious. See, that's why I tell brothers, man, you got to pay attention to what I'm talking about and not just not speaking about you, Big Scratch, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, like I said, I enjoyed your video and I'm going to speak some more about that in a few minutes. But, you know, you got to look at my video sometime and understand when I'm telling you, I ain't just hating on certain people or I ain't just making this shit up. You know, I've been said that what you speaking about as far as the dogs not looking skinny and they saying they're malnutritious and skinny and stuff like that. See, what I told y'all before was the officer on that case was a bad cop, you know, and I just gave y'all, maybe a couple months ago where, you know, she had to resign from the Horry County Police Department. The same officer that was on that case, you know. She do dirty stuff when it comes to them dogs, you know, and I've been put that out. I made 3 or 4 videos about that, supporting the Waccamaw brothers. You know what I'm saying? Supporting them because the dogs, you know, it wasn't the fact that the dogs looked bad. It's the fact that she wanted to make this presumption and make it seem like the dogs were this or the dogs were that. And it wasn't like that at all. So it's nothing really fishy about it. It's just, you know, when you're dealing with a person who's going over and beyond and doing things they're not supposed to be doing and making arrests they ain't supposed to be making, it go down like that. You know what I'm saying? And it don't pay off for them in the long run. Because like I said, you see how she just had to resign for illegal conduct with her co-workers. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I gave y'all the video for that as well. So I mean, it just is what it is, man. I was watching a video and you mentioned a few, you know, old school dog brothers who had some of that Big John stuff, and you know, I can't say nothing bad about it. You know what I'm saying? I can't say nothing bad about it. Brothers repping their little Thunder stuff, got it bred real tight. I mean, I can't say nothing bad about it. I heard several people say they when they bred some of the Pit Island dogs with the Big John dogs, you know, they came with some good dogs, you know. But I'm gonna tell you like this: it's not just the Pit Island dogs; it's that the dogs are bred tight. You know what I'm saying? They bred tight, and when you take these dogs out to other families, you get phenomenal dogs as well. You know, more than the average where you just take a dog and breed it to your dog, you might not get certain things because of how he bred. He might not be bred like that. You know what I'm saying? But I've seen a few brothers over the past 10 years that been saying that Big John, Pit Out and stuff went well together. So like I said, man, much props to all the brothers with the Big John dogs out there, Little John dogs out there that's breeding them the way that that they see fit. You know what I'm saying? It's always best to know the dogs, because I'm gonna mention this right here as well, Big Scratch. A few of the dogs that you mentioned, the dog Red Cloud, he wasn't a dog really that we can speak about like that. You know what I'm saying? On that level. It's production wise, Red Storm was a female, not a male. That's a female. But Red Storm is a good producing bitch. You want your Buddy and Red Storm dogs, Quick and Red Storm, Wrangler and Red Storm. You want them type of breeders with, that dog or Ronda Rousey. They want some of your better producing bitches. I'ma say, I'ma speak about the dog Little Country. You know what I'm saying? The dog Little Country, he was a grown dog at 4 or 5 months old, and he never changed from that point. He finished his last one as a blind dog. He couldn't see, and he still won this last show and never got his vision back, after that show. Never, he stayed blind. And if I go back, I gotta go back and see if I can find some of them old videos that I posted on Facebook. I wanna say it's one of my accounts that I may can find it on no. It's one of them accounts that I got locked out of because of spam or something like that. But I had videos of him, locking on tires and stuff like that. I'm gonna see if I can pull some of them old videos back up of him. Now, what I do want to show you, I do want to show you the Lightning dog. This is a dog I had off Split Ears. You know what I'm saying? Now that dog was off Split Ears and Dixie. He was a pretty good dog. He was a pretty good dog. Now his offspring, which was his son and his daughter, was the dogs that the police took from me. His daughter had puppies in the pound. I bred his daughter, which he was coming off Split Ears, to the dog that I had, Buck. Now Buck was coming off Rattler. So he was bred to what it was. Little Thunder. Lightning was off of Split Ears. So it was Rattler, which was off Split Ears. So Lightning and Rattler was half brothers. Alright. So we had 2 half brothers, offspring. That's the puppies I had that got took. And the puppies that was born in the dog pound or whatever. And like I said, that was a while ago. And I'm gonna address some more things too when it comes to that, Waccamaw stuff out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Cause the boys say they wanna hear it, so I'm gonna give it to them. You know what I'm saying? Big salute to all the brothers and sisters down in the chat, man. Y'all hit that like button up. Y'all hit that like button up, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed to the channel yet. Subscribe to Big Dog TV Unchained if you're not subscribed to that channel. Hey, I'm gonna start uploading a whole lot of new content over there as well, but outside of the old interviews and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate everybody that's been tuned into the channel, man. Everybody that's beamed in, locked in, rocking with the Bay, man. Now, what I wanted to talk about, because when I get onto this, I'm going to stay on to it. When I get back to that Waccamaw stuff, I'm going to stay on it and ride the show on out. But what I wanted to speak about before that was the Yellow John dog. Now, I just got a simple question. Who owned the Yellow John dog first? Was it Mr. Kirby or was it Mr. Chavis? Was Mr. Kirby and Mr. Chavis kennel partners? Were they friends? You know, that's what I want to know. You know, because we seen Mr. Kirby name in a lot of them red boy Jocko dogs at the beginning of, back in the early 90s. You know, but they faded away. You don't see the Mr. Kirby stuff up on the pedigrees and stuff like that no more. But when the papers was coming out, you seen Kirby's this or Kirby's that and Kirby's this. But my thing is, were they partners? Did Kirby get the dog after? Did Kirby raise the dog? Did Mr. Chavis raise the dog, Yellow Giant? You know, did you just register it like that? Like I said, friends or something? You know, some of y'all brothers or sisters that may know. That's why I say drop down in the chat. Let me know what's going on when it comes to Kirby's Yellow Giant, Chavis Yellow Giant. I know it's the same dog. I'm just wanting to know, maybe who made the dog into the champion. You know what I'm saying? Or, who did this with the dog? Who did this breedings? You see? Did Kirby have Yellow Giant and went a different route with his breedings than Mr. Chavis? See, I don't know. I'm asking. You know what I'm saying? They may, like I said, they may have been sharing the dogs. One may have, just, how you have kennel partners and stuff like that. Maybe KPs. I don't know, man. But I was just wondering about that. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about before we get into this other stuff. Honey Bunch. When we talk about why a lot of people only be the ones with champions off their dogs. Why the Big John brothers, Waccamaw, the only one got champions off their dogs. Why we only want to ask that with certain people. Now, if you really go into these pedigrees and go to a dog like Honey Bunch, which is owned by Mr. Crenshaw, a very reputable dog man. But when you go in Honey Bunch and we know Jeep is at the top of the rum list. Now, when you go in Honey Bunch and look at her offspring, why is all the champions coming from Mr. Crenshaw? When you look at a majority, I'm not saying none of the champions came off of nobody else's dogs from Honey Bunch. But look at all her offspring and look at all the champions off her offspring. All of them came from Mr. Crenshaw. Now that can mean one or two things. Either you can be playing with the system, you know what I'm saying? Playing with the system, trying to just make, like them boys say, yard full of champions, everything champions. Or you can be the one who knows how to handle them certain dogs better than other people. You see, I can sell you these dogs. I can say, oh, get these Big John dogs. They're good, they're good, they're good. But if you don't know how to conduct it, you don't know how to handle it, you don't know how to bring certain things out in it the way I do, because I know the line a little bit better than you. I know when to wait, when to pull, when to bring it. You know what I'm saying? A little bit better than you. Then I would get more champions than you get. Because you take them out there and ruin them at 5 months, and I know to sit on them at 5 months, I'm going to get more champions than you. Because I know how to handle my material, unlike a person who's just getting it for the first time. And to discredit nobody, I'm going to put it more on that, than to say Mr. Crenshaw buttered the game and just made all his dogs champions. I'm going to put it more on he knew how to handle his dogs more than other people knew how to handle his dogs. You know what I'm saying? A good dog can be a good dog, but people don't know how to handle bloodlines the way the people that created the lines or run the lines know how to handle it. A person, like I said, sometimes we can get these dogs and we want them to be superstars at 5 or 6 months old. Some brothers, believe it or not, hit that like button up down there in the chat, man. Hit that like button up. Believe it or not, some brothers want them to be superstars a little bit younger than 5 or 6 months. They ain't doing something 3 and 4 months old. They start looking at them funny. Believe it or not, a lot of these bulldoggers, they they'll get these dogs and they'll turn them to hermits. So you get a dog off Jeep and you put him on a chain, you think he's supposed to, and we saying that you know Jeep reputation. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the young Jeep when he ain't had no reputation. We talking the older Jeep. You know, you got a dog coming off a double bred Jeep, son and daughter, and you got the puppy off that. So you don't really know the line and how to really make them dogs unfold the way they need to unfold. So you got a puppy. Now, you heard Jeep reputation, and but what you used to is Eli dogs. You know, some dogs that may be coming up at 4 weeks old, acting a donkey, and then when they get 8 months old, don't do nothing. You know, not saying they do, but I'm just saying that might be what you used to. Then you go get these Jeep dogs, and then they ain't acting like that. Now you throwing them away. But Mr. Crenshaw know, oh, I gotta do this with them. I gotta do that with them. You know, and they may be dogs who need extra attention. Some of these dogs, you crying about they spook, they crying about they people shy, but some dogs need more attention than other dogs. Mr. Crenshaw, we're using him as an example because we're speaking about Jeep. Mr. Crenshaw will be like, okay, I know I gotta take time with these dogs. I gotta work them from a young age, put hands on with them from a young age, and that could be the reason he getting great dogs from his dog. Same thing with the Big John brothers. Folk know how to handle their dogs. You get these dogs, you want them to be this, you want them to be that, but you want them to be that off the pedigrees and not what you actually putting into the dog. Not saying none of y'all brothers don't put in certain things for the dogs, you know, but like I said, man, you wouldn't believe how many dogs aren't imprinted at all. You know what I'm saying? I done been in shows where brothers want you can't make no noises. You can't do shit because these dogs are spooked to every damn thing. You know? And I bring the type of dog in where you can have a damn party beside that motherfucker and he gonna do what he's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? My dog's always been imprinted on city living. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much country people or dogs I went deep in the country with, my dog's always been imprinted. Before I knew anything about dog training or anything like that, always been imprinted to do things that we do on a normal, everyday basis. You know what I'm saying? If I want to go for a walk to the store, we gonna walk. You know, I always said I can't stand a dog that won't walk on a leash. I mean, that's the number one if pet peeve I got. You know, if a dog will walk on a leash, we good. But if he don't walk, and ain't nothing I can do to make you and like trick you into walking, and we talking grown dogs. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to work with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I do a lot of walking with my dogs, get a lot of exercise with them. You know? But yeah, man, everybody, you know, like I say, you go look at Honey Bunch offspring and look at all the champions coming all the way down. Crenshaw this, Crenshaw that, Crenshaw this. And then look at everybody else who got offspring and see how many champions they got. Look at Chinaman offspring. Go to Chinaman offspring. Look at most of the dogs who got merits and numbers and stuff like that. They are people that was dealing directly with Garner at the time, so it would benefit them to have, you know, the best quality of the dogs, and it's Garner with the dogs. Go to all the old school breeders. Pat Patrick, you know, Mr. Clemens, Mr. Boudreaux. Go to all the old school breeders. And that's universal law. The people who make the dogs, don't make no difference what line it is, whatever lines you crossing in your yard, and dogs that you getting off that particular dog, them dogs, as year after year go, you know how them dogs gonna produce, you know how they gonna react, you know how they gonna act, you know if you need to add, if you need to subtract, whatever. And I'm talking about multiple breedings, year after year after year. You know, you gonna know all that stuff. But the people you sell the dogs to, you can only kind of tell them how to handle this. When I sell a Malinois puppy to somebody, we can talk protection, we can talk this, but once you get the dog in your hand, I can't control that no more. You got to feed the dog. You got to take the dog out, walk into the park. You got to do this training. You got to put this amount of repetitions into these training technique. I can only tell you, you know what I'm saying? So everybody gonna pull certain things out of dogs. And sometimes, we like to take these conversations when it comes to these old school dog brothers, and we'll ride them in certain directions. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I've always heard that Waccamaw had the only champions out their dogs. But like I said, no matter what I get to talking about that Big John sperm, you know what I'm saying? I'm stand on this. You know what I'm saying? Them brothers got the purest family of Grand Champion yellow dogs, from the old days that they bred the yellow. You know what I'm saying? That's still significant in the modern day time. And I ain't talking about none of the other yellow dogs. I'm talking about the purest family coming down off the yellow and the Jocko stuff that maintain the same family without going out to other dogs. Like I said, at the beginning, they went out to dogs like the Mountain Man stuff, and you got your little Rascal in some of them strains, and you got, you got little outs here and there back in them days. The Consuela dog had the Tombstone Bolio in it. You know what I'm saying? That's if you go into Little Bud or the Bud dog and look at one of his offspring, you see the Consuela dog. That's the dog I'm talking about with the Tombstone Bolio on the bottom side. Yeah, you little outs, but that was way back in the days. And those dogs were made to people bringing their female to breed to my stud, and maybe I keep a puppy off of it and throw it into my program. It was never I'm gonna take my female out and breed to this stud and bring it back into my program when it comes to that Waccamaw stuff. You know what I'm saying? See, I ain't gonna get up here and just feed y'all brothers something to try to make $1 off you. Feed y'all something, feed y'all some pictures and stuff, and so I can try to discredit this person or discredit that person. I'm just gonna speak about what I know, man. You know what I'm saying? As far as legitimate dog stuff, great dogs, man, great dogs. One thing I will say, what I'm speaking about now don't have anything to do with what you was speaking about, Big Scratch, because like I said, you was mentioning some great dog brothers, and they was breeding the Little Thunder stuff up great, how they was breeding it up. Me myself personally, I don't have any of the Little Thunder stuff in the lines that I'm running right now, but if I see where it could benefit me as far as the dog that I'm breeding to, because I like to breed to the dog. If it's a dog that I don't really like, you know what I'm saying? I don't really care what the fucking pedigree say. And like I said, this is no disrespect to nobody, period. You know what I'm saying? I gotta like the dog first before I even worry about the pedigree. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, you might as well say, let me breed my dog with your dog. You know what I'm saying? Anybody I'm talking about. You might as well say, let me breed my dog with your dog and just send me the pedigree first, and I ain't even seen how the dog look, whether the dog white, black, red, green, orange. Just say, let me breed with my dog and throw me the pedigree and let me look at it. And I'm just gonna decide whether I wanna breed with it by looking at the ped. I ain't even see the dog yet. I gotta see the dog first before I even see the ped, man. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, big salute to all the brothers that you was bigging up on your show, Big Scratch. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, cause like I said, it just is what it is. Everybody gotta rep they dogs, man. I can't knock nobody for repping what they trying to rep. You know what I'm saying? That's how brothers gotta do it, man. You gotta rep what you trying to rep, or rep the dogs, or speak high on the dogs you trying to rep. You know what I'm saying? All the breedings that you made and you like. How I look, trying to criticize you for your opinion about, and I'm speaking to you, Big Scratch, criticize you on your opinion about whether you like or dislike the Waccamaw dogs, or whether they to your satisfaction. I can't make you like them. You know what I'm saying? You can't make me like no dogs. That ain't the kind of dog game we trying to live in. We forced to like a certain kind of dog. That's the good thing about this pit bull game, is you got so many different flavors. And the thing is, you just gotta have that eye for what you're looking for and what you want. what I want might be different than what you want. What you want might be different than what I want and what Bruce Banner want, or what City Boy Kennels want, or what the other brothers want. You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is. But the thing we got to get in our head is, because you like it, don't mean I got to hate it. You know what I'm saying? Because he like it, don't mean I got to hate it. If it ain't what I like, that's I don't rock with it. But that don't mean he didn't find gold in it. That don't mean you didn't find gold in whatever you was breeding. You know what I'm saying? And that's a hard problem this pit bull game got, man. Because I don't like an Eli dog, that don't mean this brother ain't found gold in something and I might like what he got. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just, even if I don't like what he got, you know, these brothers get to the point now where if they don't like your dog, they don't like you. You know, that's the mentality of the YN dog community. And when we say YN dog community, it ain't the young brothers all the time. When I mean age-wise, it's age in the way they thinking. You know, you got 40-some-year-old, some of them 50, YNs in the dog game, man. If Mr. Crenshaw didn't own Honey Bunch, would she have as many champions and have so many great produced dogs with another person? You know, and the way these dogs come out and who have this dog and who have that dog, and a great dog is a great dog. We know a great dog is a great dog. But at the same time, you know, and I only see evidence of it. If you take these great dogs and you put them in other places, they aren't the same dogs. They don't have the reputations they would have. You take every dog and switch them around. You take Eli, put him to another person. You take Jeep, take him from Mr. Crenshaw. You take Jocko from Mr. Chavis. You take Red Boy from Mr. Till and Mr. Bass. You know, you take Tramp rather from Mr. Till, the dog Tramp. You take him from Mr. Till. You know, that way it won't be no Red Boy. You know, he'd go to somewhere else. Because somebody else to have Tramp or whatever. All right, you take Bolio from Indian Sunny and Mr. Patrick. You know, put them in other places. You take Dabo from Mr. Tudor. Put him somewhere in New York City during that time. Take Dabo from Mr. Tudor. You can even go back even further. You know, take Pitcher from Mr. Kobe. Take Pilot, you know, from Mr. Kobe. Or whoever had them. You know, and my whole point is, great dogs are great dogs, you know, and we can say they'll be great no matter who got them, if the people who got them is doing the same exact thing when it comes to health care and the way they taking care of that dog, or better. If they not doing the dog in the same manner, and the dog went to a worse area or a bad situation, the dog may not be as good in performance as he was. The dog may not be good in production as he was. The dog may not be advertised good as he was. The dog may not even have a name the way he was. If Mr. Crenshaw would have bred Honey Bunch to Finley Bow, and just so happened would have got, you know, named Jeep at a young age, and would have sold him at 5 months to somebody else, and just say Jeep never made the name he made, you know, this whole game would have been different. You wouldn't have been looking at the Jeep dogs the way you looking at the Jeep dogs. You know, dogs are and their past and where they came from is all destined to, and goes back to who had them dogs. You know, I can say Sambo would have been a good dog, great dog no matter who had them. But it all goes back to what that person who had them dogs been through with them dogs, what they go through, how they got them dogs the way they got them dogs. And if you take that dog and put them in somebody else's hand, would they have did the same thing that I did to get my dog the way he was? If they wouldn't have did the same thing or better, then they wouldn't have got the same reaction and results from that dog. No matter what dog it is, if you take a great dog and you put him in a situation where he can't be great, he's not going to be great no more. That's why I always say you got to put these dogs in situations to win if you want to win. I mean, I always felt like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, you know, like I say, big salute and big shout out to Big Scratch, right? You know, that's what I said about the cop situation when it came to the police that took them boys' dog. You know, you see how the news said the dogs were malnutritious and all that, you know, but in mine it said my chicken had the spur cut off on the leg. You know, say my chicken had the spur cut off, and you know, when you're doing that, that's for gamecock fighting, but they didn't charge me with no gamecock fighting and all that. But basically what I'm saying is the news people make up lies, and that's the same woman. You know, same woman. But I lost my dogs about 13 years before that. You know what I'm saying? 13 years. And I'm going to get into all that in a few minutes. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going to get deep into this dog talk, man. We're going to get deep into this dog talk. You know, when it comes to JR's Gainey, or Gainey's JR rather. Sorry about that. Gainey's JR. You know, is the Little John dog, the Cuban Missing Link Little John, the CML's Little John, one of the easiest ways to get you some of that good Gainey blood in your dog. Because that's one of some of the offspring that we don't see floating around off that, you know, off that Yellow John breeding. So is that a good way to get you some of that JR dog through that Cuban Missing Link Little John? And that's a good looking dog from the past, you know what I'm saying? I never really had nothing bad to say about it as far as the dog Little John himself, you know what I'm saying? And I never had none of the Little John dogs. I heard other brothers speak about the Little John dogs, the CML Little John I'm speaking about now. I heard other brothers speak about them dogs, but me myself personally, I never had any. But is that a good way to get you some of that Gainey's JR if you're looking for that strain of the Red Boy Jocko? Now, you know, we're going to get to this Waccamaw talk. You know, first thing I want to, that's fishy. You know, first thing is fishy. You got Waccamaw's John Stone, which was a dog that he got from, the fake Waccamaw got from one of them brothers in another state. Dog 7 or 8, going on 8 years old. You know, why that dog ain't got no offspring out there before you got that dog? Something fishy about that. You know, it's something real fishy about it. Why he don't got no offspring scattered out if he was worth bringing and adding to the program? You see, what the new Waccamaw is doing is breeding off pedigrees, which is different than a lot of brothers ain't breeding off pedigrees, they breeding off what they got. You know, dog 7, 8 years old, you ain't got no puppies yet. You know, and you trying to get your first litter off PBK. I just call it the way I see it, man. You know, I just call it the way I see it. Now, this guy Buck City, you know, the guy Buck City say folk need to apologize to him. But the thing is, he don't understand. He is the official mascot for any ASPCA commercial that come out. I'm going to remix it, and he the mascot. Any of them. You know, he's the official mascot for what not to look like when it comes to these dogs. When it comes to these dogs, do not handle yourself like that. You know, James Elmer Givens Jr. Look at that and you'll be all right. Be the total opposite of that.
Well, I guess I am today. But, you know, this dog, he would be my star witness. You know, this is the same dog that they said in their report that he was being used for baiting and fighting. He doesn't have a single scratch. That right there is, it's upsetting.
As a matter of law, additionally, this court could not order more than 5 animals returned because of the lack of a kennel license. But I feel it's important. Even 5 dogs would be 5 too many. There's no conditional order that could protect these animals. The conditions and abuse are deplorable, they're unspeakable, and the petition must be denied.
I'm just asking for for the mercy of the court, you know, to let me get my dogs back and restore, you know, my life.
A lot of the dogs have exhibited some wounds or scarring to their face, to their legs, to their torso area. This suggests to me that they're not properly being cared for. The court has serious concerns about them suffering future neglect or abuse, because I didn't hear from you a good solid plan going forward. And so because of that, I don't feel that you have met your burden in this case. And so I am not going to allow the return of the dogs to your care.
It's pretty much.
A born flunky. Man, listen here, man. Being that you even talking like that on your channel, let me know what type of folk are you around, man. Folk, you around a bunch of motherfuckers that, man, listen here. I ain't gonna disrespect nobody else, you know. I ain't gonna disrespect nobody else. We just gonna get into this dog talk. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, you got Ed Moultrie, DJ Dynamite, and Buck City, you know, and Titan Kennel. All right, let me explain something to these brothers. Now they get on, one person sending the information and the other person doing the talking, you know. So they get up there and they say, a little bit after I stopped working with Waccamaw, the dogs got taken. So we about to address that right now, big homies and my young homies and my ladies out there. We're gonna address that right now. You know, for first thing, I never stopped working with Waccamaw. You know, the way I was working with them from the start was on work basis. You know, if it's a lot of work, then I work. If it's not that much work during that week, I might work 1 or 2 days. You know what I'm saying? If there's a lot of work, I might work 2 weeks straight. You know, and have my days off, and then it come to a time where I might work a day out of the week. But at this particular time, I'm doing my podcasting and stuff like that, right? Do my podcasting, so it don't really matter to me, you know? But ask yourself this, when y'all start getting out here and talking, that's how you know brothers don't be having nothing to talk about and just be making up shit, lying about shit, and trying to fit in, and still trying to peddle this damn sperm and trying to push these fake ass dogs, you know? Listen here, man. If Waccamaw didn't get in trouble when I got in trouble, why would it get in trouble when I'm not in trouble? You know, because I'm not working with them at the time, you think they're going to lose their dogs? You know, hey, we ain't even got deep into this conversation yet because I'm just about to go kill it at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I get in trouble, they don't lose their dogs. You know, but what you claiming, because you need views, you know, because we see your views getting low. What you claiming is when I stop working, a few days later, the dogs get taken. You know, like I said, they didn't get taken. When I got in trouble, you know, my dogs got taken. Their dogs didn't get taken. So when I stopped working for them, the dogs get took. I wasn't making that much money, son, at all. You know? And like I said, I was cool because I was doing my podcast. So, I mean, I didn't even see it as I'm not working no more. You know, I just went from working one way to working another way. I was already monetized when I stopped working with them fellas. You know? So at the end of the day, you know, big salute to them, man. Learned a lot of things working with them. But the thing is, what an asshole don't understand, and what them flunkies don't understand, I benefit more by them having their dogs. It don't benefit me, Pelican Bay, by them not having no dogs. See, that's what DJ Dynamite fucked up at, and he don't understand. He was talking about, oh, I want to be the only one with. It don't benefit me for them not to have their dogs. You know, I can do a whole lot more with them having their dogs with my dogs. You know, big salute to Magnolia Kennel. I sold him one off of Quick and Red Storm. Now, he got that dog because Waccamaw had more dogs. He wouldn't have got that dog if Waccamaw wouldn't have had no more dogs. You know, I could sell a brother a good Waccamaw dog when they had dogs. I'm Pelican Bay. What they did didn't hinder me. Had nothing to do with what I'm doing. I'm doing my thing, they doing their thing. I'm running the kind of dogs that they got, and ain't nobody interfering with nothing. Because we dog men out here. You get DJ Dynamite come out here. He not a dog man. He done lied to y'all like he can do this and he can do that, and he can't. You know? So for them to lose their dogs, it hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Hurt me. See, I was the only one at the lawyer office while the police was at the yard. DJ Dynamite was somewhere working on a trash truck. Didn't even know none of that shit was going on. While I was down to the lawyer office. But see, people talk about shit, like I say, you making up stuff, you know what I'm saying? These brothers can't watch your shit and listen to your shows and listen to the stuff y'all talking about dogs, man, when they see clear as day that y'all just make up stuff, you know? And Dynamite thought because he could show you pictures, man, that shit don't mean shit, man. Y'all fantasizing and gassed up all pictures of dead damn dogs. Got that picture say Waccamaw's buddy is a legend. What make Waccamaw's buddy a legend? Who said Waccamaw's buddy was a legend? DJ Dynamite? The fake Waccamaw? What made him legendary? I'm asking you, brother, since you say he's legendary. A legendary dog that you can't show, but you say you got him. Or you say he died now. So Dynamite, tell them boys, you know what I'm saying? Show them boys a jughead, you know? And like I told y'all already, man, you know, it ain't up for me to make you believe something. You know what I'm saying? I got dogs I'm running, and if I have to run other dogs, I'm running other dogs. You know, a dog don't make me, I make the dog, like I said before, man. I know how to look and find. If I feel like I'm gonna take care of it, it's gonna be a hellified dog. I ain't gonna just have anything. No matter what kind of bloodline it is, you know? I mean, I ain't gonna be fooled by somebody that's trying to make y'all think you really can't explain what's so good about the dogs. You know, you need somebody like me or somebody like the next brother to get up there and explain and break their pedigrees down and talk about this and talk about that. You need all that because you can't do it. And like I said before, Ed Moutry, DJ Dynamite, Waccamaw, Titan Kennel, Buck City, all of them in the same damn boat. I'm handle all y'all the same way since you want to be friends. You know what I'm saying? You want to politic on the back streets and try to throw a little jabs and think you heard me. Listen here, man. I'm going to handle it how I got to handle it, man. I'm going to handle it how I got to handle it. And we coming in tomorrow, Christmas Eve, doing that thing. We're going to be live Christmas Eve, man. So big salute and big shout out to all the brothers that's going to be rocking with me on the live. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is, man. Let's get into this video real quick so y'all know who I'm talking about when I say Ed Moutry, DJ Dynamite Kennel partner. You know what I'm saying? The other half of Waccamaw Kennels, you know.
At 4 o'clock, 2 Georgetown County men are behind bars after facing charges of operating a dogfighting ring. That's according to the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. 48-year-old Edward Lee Moultrie Jr. is charged with 6 counts of animal fighting, 3 counts of ill treatment of animals, and 2 counts of conspiracy, while 78-year-old Edward Lee Moultrie Sr. is charged with conspiracy in connection with the operation of a dogfighting kennel. Both men were booked into the Georgetown County Jail.
Now, now that we know, I told y'all brothers, like, I mean, honestly, I benefit more with them brothers having the dogs than not having the dogs. But only you know, people that's thinking logical gonna understand that. Somebody just hating, just talking out their head, they just gonna say any damn thing. Now, the most important thing is, I didn't even, you know where the dogs was at that time. You know, I wasn't looking at them dogs. I wasn't saying, oh, let's get off work and go look at the dogs, nothing like that. You know, when I bred the Saber 2000 with Hacksaw, he brought Hacksaw up to the yard to where we can breed them in the front. I never knew about the dog. I knew they wasn't on the yard, but I didn't know where they was at. If I'm not buying any, what's the purpose of me going to try to look at something? And that kept me out of that situation. You see, I never knew where the dogs was at. Dogs went nowhere near the house. Football fields away. And I'm talking about, like, this is when the dogs got taken. You know, of course I was around the dogs other times, but they moved the dogs. They moved the dogs from all around the front, all around the shed and all that, where they had the dogs at. Anybody who came and bought dogs and you seen them, when you see the picture of Little Thunder and all that, they moved the dogs from right there and put them in another area. Now, when I was working for them, the whole time I was working for them, the dogs weren't in the front area. Now, I knew them my whole damn life. I only worked for them a couple years. But I knew them my whole damn life. And the dogs always been in the front. Now, when I was working for them, they was in the back. And like I said, I had a couple Mollywogs then, and I got a few pit bulls, and I just had got Saber 2000 before, you know, shit had slowed up at the job. Can you imagine what I'd have been breeding to, you know, if they wouldn't have lost their dogs? Every time I'm breeding to a dog that y'all ain't heard about. One of these good dogs over here that y'all ain't heard about, and y'all think it's on another yard. Y'all think it's on another yard. Dynamite think he had a second yard when he ain't had no second yard. All he had was the scratched up dogs. The healing up process dogs. You know? So I mean, I just give it to brothers how I give it to brothers, man. Like I said, brothers, they talk stuff, man, that just don't make no sense sometimes. Now, before all that stuff even happened, you know, they were saying something about some folk that got in trouble at that Carolina Classic in South Carolina, because that happened before Waccamaw lost their dogs. They were saying something about some of them folk was screaming their name. You know, but that was just a rumor in the street. You know, a lot of the stuff you can't prove. On that, and I'm gonna say a few weeks before that, before they lost their dogs, several people on that same road, you know, in that same area, was also hit by the animal control. So you can't say and put nothing on nobody. But I know one thing, I benefit more from them having their damn dogs. You know what I'm saying? Them losing their damn dogs. And then another thing, you know, when we take these breedings and we say, oh, I bred a Waccamaw dog with a Pit Island dog, or I bred a Waccamaw dog with a Jeep dog or an Eli dog. Let me ask you this. What was the Pit Island dog doing before you made the cross? What kind of dogs were they making before you made the cross to the Waccamaw stuff? What was the Eli dog producing before you crossed to the Waccamaw stuff? You know, what was the Jeep dog producing before you crossed to the Waccamaw stuff? You know what I'm saying? What the offspring looking like before the crosses was made, before you added that blood into the dog? You know, which dog, you know, was the better when you made the breeding, or was they equal? Was the Waccamaw dog equal as the Pit Island or the Jeep dog or the Red Boy dog? You know, it just is what it is, man. It's all kind of factors when it comes to these breeders and it comes to these dogs. And like I said before, I can't hate no man for not feeling a certain way about a line, you know, any line. Like you can't feel no kind of way because I feel a way about a line. Everybody gonna handle it different. Everybody looking for different things. No matter what we say, we looking for this, or everybody looking for different shit when it comes to these dogs. When I say different, I mean no matter if we was no matter if this was the Wild Wild West days, and we was looking for box dogs, we will still be looking for different shit. Everybody see different things that they can bring out the dogs certain ways. They know how to bring out the dogs certain ways. And I don't care what you say, you know, the man who leave that dog on the chain with a good caliber dog, you leave him on the chain, and then you got one man who messed with his dog from a puppy, the same caliber of dog, but he messed with him from a puppy, and say he left his on the chain. He 9 or 10 months old, he a good dog. Not saying he not gonna be a good dog, but the one that's 9 or 10 months old and he's same caliber, maybe off the same litter, you know, and both of them high caliber. The one who messing with his gonna be the better dog. He gonna have more control. We gonna be able to do more things with his dog. You know, like I always say, man, you know, you got mercenaries and you got regular people. You know, you got these special forces and you got regular people. You put any gun in a special forces mercenary type person hand, they know what to do with it. Every civilian person can't shoot a gun, can't handle a gun, but that same gun can be you know, the perfect weapon for somebody who know how to use it. It's the same thing, man. This Uzi gonna fire off regardless, but this specialist, this army specialist over here, he know how to use it. The civilian, he know how to shoot up 7 innocent people. Same material, different people got their hands on it, different personalities, and you get different results, just like these dogs. You know, I mean, it just is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And it's still the same way. It's no different. I can't be mad at a brother that say, man, the Uzi really didn't, I wasn't, you know, impressed by the Uzi. I didn't like the Uzi, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, for me, it didn't shoot like this right here. It didn't fire like this. It was too unstable, you know? I can't be mad at a brother for saying that. You know, if I'm a person, especially if I'm like, I know how to deal with that particular, you know, firearm. I may have mastered that particular firearm. I'm like, man, to me, that firearm is everything. You know, I could do anything with it. So I can't be mad at him with it. I just know how I get down with it. That's all it is to it, man. That's all it is to it. Same thing with the dogs, you know. Everybody gonna have their own sauce, their own way they like it. You know what I'm saying? How they like it. You know, and it's gonna have to be the way they want it to be. You know, and everybody, like I said before, when it comes to mouth, what is really mouth? It's so many different definitions of what mouth is when it comes to these dogs. He think he seen mouth, he think that's mouth, and then when you really show him mouth, he like, damn, that is mouth. That is, you know, everybody got a different definition of mouth. You know, we always say, how many people say mouth is when they see blood on a dog, when a dog was bleeding back in them days, because he got cuts on him and all kind of shit like that, different things. Oh, that dog got mouth because he made cuts on a dog as soon as he bit him. No, he just got sharp teeth. You know, anything gonna bleed when the sharp penetrate through the skin. Something sharp. That don't mean he got mouth. And I made videos about that. We take blood and call it mouth back in them days. You know, when mouth meant mouth. You know, breaking stuff, pressure and stuff, pressurizing. Even if they were ripping up and busting open stuff, you know, it was showing the actual pressure of their bite. Like I said, y'all hit that like button up, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed to the channel yet. You know what I'm saying? And to DJ Dynamite, the Fate, Waccamaw, and Titan. You know, like I said, I talked to Miss Patty. You know, ADBA, baby, ADBA. And it don't matter to me that Saber 2000, she gonna put Saber 2000 name as SBS Pandora, but her call name is Saber 2000. Busby Saber 2000. You know, that don't matter to me, man. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. Keep on doing what y'all doing. It still don't take the fact that you don't got the dogs that you say you got. You don't got no Big John sperm, no Little John sperm. It still don't replace that. You know, y'all can say what y'all want to say. Post whatever old school pictures you want to post. You know what I'm saying? At this point, it don't make no difference who said it, whether you said or Sonny said. The Big John sperm don't exist. You know, it don't make no difference who said it. And like I said before, man, never bring that damn, oh, I want this dog man out the way, or I want that dog man out the way talk to the Pelican Bay, man, because at the end of the day, I was prospering with them there. You know, I was going to prosper with them there. You know how many people wanted a Big John dog but couldn't get one? I'm a hustler from back in the days, man. I'm a hustler from back in the days. So my thing is, what you want? You want one? Get you one. So maybe put me a little tag on it. You know, maybe put me a little tag on it. Make me $300 or $400 here and there. You know how many times I would have made $300 or $400 here and there by them boys still having their dogs? See, the real Waccamaw wasn't out there on social media and putting his business out there on social media like Dynamite bought the whole situation to social media. And then he linked up with a flunky named Buck City James Elmer Givers Jr. that's known for having his dogs and shit, and he's shooting them with pellet guns. You know, linked up with him and Titan Kennel. See? And then like I told y'all before, Titan got to back Waccamaw, the fake Waccamaw. He got to back him because Waccamaw is the booster club for bona fide kennels. He got to back him. He know they lying, but he rather act like he mad at me than really do what he's supposed to do with them pedigrees and shit off Big John. He know they ain't got no Big John sperm. You know, the same way we know y'all did that Mr. Macho Buck sperm that Evo them got. You got it. Everybody got it. That's dealing with y'all. Champion Bear sperm, the same way we know you how that's going down. But no matter what Dynamite say, no matter how Titan know Dynamite don't know shit about the dogs, he can talk to him and understand that. But the thing is, he gotta go with him because he know the real Waccamaw is the booster club. You know, and the thing about it, these young brothers coming up in this dog game, man, they understand that these fools out here lying on these pedigrees. A brother pointed something out to me, brothers, and I'm gonna speak about it on another video, but I gotta get the green light from him. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get the green light from him. I'm gonna speak about it, cause there's some of these brothers that's in this circle with Titan, the Macho Buck brothers, Cuban Missing Link, Chico Lopez, you know, in that little circle right there. I'm gonna show y'all some more pedigrees, and we gonna need to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show it to you, but it ain't gonna be on this video. You know, right now I'm just talking about the same old. We gonna take it on into Christmas. You know, like I say, y'all tune in to the live tomorrow. Come rock with me tomorrow on that live. We can talk about, you know, whatever lines you want to talk about. Break down whatever lines you want to break down. You know what I'm saying? But answer that question for me also, like I said at the beginning of the video. Mr. Kirby, who had the Yellow John stuff? You know, was it Mr. Kirby's Yellow John first, and he sold it to Mr. Chavis, or did they have it at the same time and just registered it up different ways? You know, and it don't really make no difference. It's same dog, same dog. Don't make a difference. You know, but just a question I had to ask, man. Just a question I had to ask. Like I said, man, we gonna at least, even when I get on a little bit of trolling on with these fellas out here, we gonna still talk about these dogs, man. Like I told you, explain to me why everybody who have these famous dogs from back in the days, I gotta use them as an example. Explain to me why most of them are the ones with the champions from their dogs. You know what I'm saying? If it's Mayday them, look at the dogs that's champion off Mayday. It's coming from Southern Kennels, and the people that was affiliated with them kennels, really affiliated with them kennels. It didn't come from Anytime, Dick, and Harry. And then when Anytime, Dick, and Harry feel like he want to comment and say, oh, why only so they only ones got champions? Because they was the ones that knew how to use the sauce, knew how to finesse the sauce. You know? Some brothers know how to do it, and some brothers know how to really do it. Some brothers don't know how to do it at all. They just get up here and lie. That's what social media allow folk to do these days, is to lie. You know what I'm saying? It's to lie, act like they know how to do this, and act like they know how to do that. Now, what I will say is, one thing Buck City still ain't talked about yet. He's still talking about everybody's dogs. Ain't talked about nothing he did with the dogs. Now, what he told us is he had Big John dogs in the 90s. We know that's a damn lie because he was stealing cars in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? He was stealing cars in the 90s. And the brother, Big Scratch, said something about a dog that he had, Cracking Kennel so-and-so, that was a Waccamaw bred dog, but that came down off of the brother Tang stuff. You know, them dogs, we talking about that gut check dog and all them dogs, man. Them dogs is more modern days than the stories that we be talking about from the 90s. Them dogs not from them damn 90s. You know what I'm saying? Little Thunder and them dogs from more close up in the 2000s and something. You know, in 2000 getting closer to your teens and all that, in your teen days. 2012, 13 and all that type of stuff. You know, so you know, his lies just be, he be trying to fit in. It ain't nothing. What's the purpose of trying to fit in with dog brothers that you don't fit in with? You know, you can't own dogs. You know, and brothers be mad because, like I said, they can't ride the school bus. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their era, man. You know, when going hard, I'm talking about the school bus, and I say they can't ride the school bus, it's because you can't. You know, I can't talk about what going hard them can talk about because they was way older and they was bulldogging way before me. And they got way more school bus stories than I would have. But in my era, I rode the school bus. You know what I'm saying? And I can speak about it because my dogs done got taken already. And like I said, from that time, I haven't made a change since. I never went back again. So I speak about my past, not glorifying it, but speaking about it so you don't have to make the same mistakes. And then we talk about some of the stories and things that we had good times with back in the days with the dogs. Now, y'all remember when the dude posted YSL up on Dynamite Facebook group, Red Boy Jocko Dogs Facebook group. Y'all remember when I said, oh man, they trying to steal my dogs. Now, this is the thing. Dynamite, when I texted him and told him that, he was trying to say that he didn't know nothing about it, and that was that dude dog that he sold him off of Mango and Candy, I want to say. Say that was a dog that came off of them. Now, every single dog I sold somebody, you know, when you show me pictures of them, I know them dogs. You know, you don't even know the dogs that you giving people out here and how they turn out and how they looking. You know, you don't know nothing about the dogs, period. And like I said before, there's no way no brother can post another brother dog and say it's a mix-up. And say, oh, I'm going to post Fletcher up here on online. I'm going to post Fletcher on Facebook, right? And I'm going to say this Rattler. Oh, this is a picture of Rattler right here, and I'm missing post Fletcher right there. I can't do that. You know, you gonna see and know that's not your dog. So when you post a picture of YSL, it wasn't no mistake. It was y'all thought I wasn't gonna find out about it, you know, and you thought it was gonna ride. Cause I told you, Mellow Yellow and Fletcher them got them dogs that come out with that certain look. And maybe, just maybe, the brother who had the dog off of Mango thought that he can post my dog and I was gonna be okay with, because you faking like you Waccamaw over there, I'm gonna be okay with him posting my dog and saying it's off his stuff or whatever. Maybe they do that where you from, but they don't do that not in my kennel. You gonna represent your shit and I'm gonna represent my shit. And it don't make no difference how y'all change them papers. Anybody you sell a dog to that don't know Mango, you gotta say, oh, the Mellow Yellow brother and sister. That Fletcher brother and sister. You got to say that. And like I said before, I can't say nothing bad about Mango. You know, I raised him. I imprinted him. You know. But when he got to the next yard, he sat on the damn chain till he was 2 years old. So, I mean, hey, he still got the same genetics. He just ain't gonna act the same. He gonna act like a country dog, and my dog's gonna act like a city dog. I mean, genetically wise, you know, he gonna produce dogs that look like him and maybe throw back some throwback, but you gotta know how to retrieve the throwback. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know how to retrieve it. And that's why I always say, look at the offspring. Y'all brothers keep wanting to talk about all this bullshit. I'm giving you pictures of the offspring. Let you see what the offspring look like 2 years old, a year and a half. You know what I'm saying? Bred different ways. But I mean, hey, like I said before, man, it is what it is. It is what it is, and I'm just gonna give it to you how I give it to you. You know, one thing Dynamite out here doing, DJ Dynamite, aka Fair, you know, one thing he out here doing is he trying to act one way to Titan, act one way to Waccamaw, the real Waccamaw, and then he out here doing other things when they don't know about it, you know, and then try to make it look like I'm just responding a certain kind of way. I'm responding a certain kind of way because the person that y'all out here believing in can't hold his weight. You know, so I mean, hey man, like I said, you got Buck City, Ed Mutry, Titan Kennel, Waccamaw Kennel, DJ Dynamite, Farron. You know, who next on the list? And the thing about Titan, like I said before, I reached out to him multiple times myself. And try to talk to him like a man. And he give me his ass to kiss every time. But then he get the Dynamite and start crying. You know, get the Dynamite and start crying about, will I take this video down? Will I take that video down? I mean, hey man, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm pressing the gas now. You know, there's no stopping now. I told you, man, you know. You worrying about taking me out of registry, you know what I'm saying, when I'm just gonna keep the gas on your neck. You don't want the gas on your neck. You know, you don't want the gas on your neck. You don't want that throttle on go. And Dynamite gonna shit you. He gonna shit you like he can defend you, like he can help you, and he can't help his damn self. Like I said, let's do the go outside and hug your dog challenge. All y'all motherfuckers that talking shit about the Bay. DJ Dynamite, let's do the walk outside and get it and show your dog challenge. You talk that yard shit and you ain't got shit set up. You know, you asking me every damn dog you talking about breeding, you got somewhere else at somebody else's house and they taking care of the damn dogs. You know. Oh, these folks getting dogs, getting puppies, and you don't even know nothing about them. Breeding the dogs, you don't know nothing about it because they ain't at your house. And you gonna have the nerve to say one damn day on your dirty side of Facebook that I'm trying to find your yard. Nigga, please. I say that shit like show enough. Nigga, please. Boy, is you crazy? Is you crazy? You got to be crazy, dog. You know what I'm saying? You got to be crazy. And some of them should have told you, boy, you know better than this, the shit you come out here starting and the shit you got them involved with. They should have told you, you know better than that, you know? Because for the greed of something you ain't gonna never have, period, you know, you willing to come out here and do all kind of shit and make up all kind of lies and throw everybody up under the bus. You know, people that I can be making up shit and put people on YouTube that don't want to be on TV, all because of the stuff that you talking about. But I'm bigger than that. You know, only people I'm putting in it is Titan because he want to follow your ass up. You know what I'm saying? He want to follow you up, and plus he's a crook anyway. You know, you can't be shitting these brothers and sisters out here year after year after year, faking on these pedigrees, lying on these pedigrees, shipping these brothers off. We going to check these pedigrees. These pedigrees ain't looking like they're supposed to be looking. They bred this way on one online pair, they bred that way on another. You know, we can't be going through all that year after year after year because you a damn Titan kennel. You know what I'm saying? Hell to the F now. You know what I'm saying? No, sirree. You know, you told them boys you ain't a photographer because I want to see my dog stuck, because I send my dog to you and I'm paying this high dollars to get my dog breed and I want to see him stuck on my damn dog. You ain't a photographer, you a dog breeder. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You ain't ready for this smoke either, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And I promise you that. You neither Farad. You know what I'm saying? You neither Farad. Motherfucker damn. Hey, listen here, man. Y'all ask DJ Dynamite what other yellow dogs he ever had. Or what other dogs he had, period, outside of that Big John shit. That's why he ready to ride or die with something. He ready to ride or die with something and throwing all these other brothers up under the bus that don't want nothing to do with social media. Oh, so-and-so did this. So-and-so did that. So-and-so did this. So-and-so did that. Man, it don't make no difference how you put them papers. 10 years from now, 15 years from now, them boys gonna know who bred Saber 2000, Pandora, SBS Pandora, whatever they wanna call it. You know, they gonna know who Mango off of. I don't care how you put the papers. You know, these brothers going off online pad. Mango off of Pelican Bay's Saber 2000, SBS Pandora. Her call name is Saber 2000 with ADB. Make no difference how you put the, man, listen here. Them boys ain't seen Pandora skip a hop down the damn trail. Or Saber 2000. Because like I told y'all, I didn't intend for her to be the superstar. I got some puppies off her, you know, and I could have bred her some more if Waccamaw still would have had their dogs. So like I said before, I only benefited flunkies. I only benefit flunkies. All y'all mad because you can't ride the bus, because you hating, you can't stop what you didn't start. Big salute to them brothers out there doing the right things with these dogs, man. Man, big salute to that brother lifting them weights, brother Aaron McFarland. Big salute to you, brother. Boy, I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. I see the work you putting in with that gym shit. You know, you can see the work, dog. He ain't like Marcel going out that motherfucker lifting weights and smiling in front of the damn camera all the damn time. And ain't got shit to show for it as far as what kind of progress you making. Hey, dog, keep doing your thing, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it just is what it is. You got me about to go jump on a weight bench, you know what I'm saying, and do a little something. That's what you call motivation, fam. Motivate a brother, man. You know what I'm saying? I look at Marcel, man, that shit don't motivate me. That shit like, damn, man, what the fuck you going out here wasting your time talking about a damn gym? You know? Come on, man. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. I'm just going to give it to these brothers out here, man. Give it to these brothers because you got too many people that's speaking on dog, man. You ain't damn bulldog a day in your damn life. We going to always say that, man. We going to always say it. Just because you own the bulldog don't mean you bulldog. You know, just because you're running one on the treadmill so we can see it on social media don't mean you bulldog. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, man, when it comes to right and what's wrong, a lot of y'all brothers, you show me where your level of thinking is at. You know what I'm saying? You show me where your level of thinking is at. Only jackasses Only jackasses will be mad at a brother for giving you the dog news. That shows how many jackasses is in that American Pit Bull Terrier game. That shows how many people is the reason, how many jackasses you got is the reason why that game is so dysfunctional. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it is what it is, my brothers. You know, it is what it is. Like I said, everybody gonna like what they like. Everybody gonna run what they gonna run, and it shouldn't make nobody else no difference. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like I said, the pit bull game is a game that where if you don't like the bloodline that I like, the brother will find a reason to hate you. If you don't think the way I'm thinking, the brothers will find a reason to hate you. Not say, oh, we just think different. You know, we cool as hell, but we just got a different opinion on certain things. You know, he like to work his dog on the road. I like to work mine on the treadmill. I like to work mine on the road. He like to do the carpet mill. You know, he like to do the cat mill. He said he just like to do walking. One brother just say he just like to walk his dogs. No too much running, no none of that. Just strictly walking. You know, everybody have their own things, and I can't hate you as a dog, man, because you have a different style than me. But these brothers do that shit every single day. You know, they done made it a habit, man. Like I said before, they can't take the true facts. You know, they can't take the true facts, but they can stay on WhatsApp. You know what I'm saying? They stay on WhatsApp. They stay in these groups with these motherfuckers talking illegal shit about these dog fights and all different type of other shit. You know, stay down in the comments talking different things. Listen here, man. I have my channel on live. Like I said, we're going to be live tomorrow. I'll be going live. If you want to talk school bus talk and talk about your dogs, that's cool. How many times have I let brothers come up? I say come up, and brothers get up here and want to question me about what the hell I got going on. I got a whole channel that I run all year long where I give brothers information about my dogs or what I did or different things or whatever. They got their time to hear about Pelican Bay stuff. When you come on my channel to talk, you should be bringing whatever knowledge you bring into the table. You know, how do we worm these dogs? How do we exercise these dogs? How do we get these dogs looking certain kind of ways? Bring whatever knowledge you got to the table and stop coming up here talking about, as soon as you get up here, the first breath you want to speak on is trying to down what I'm talking about. You know, if you disagree with something I'm saying, then that can be a conversation that we having. But you brothers don't come up here with that. You come up here with your trolling, and that's why I say, you know, I just troll you back. You know, you ain't bulldog, you ain't did shit, and you just wannabes. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I said, I'm gonna start with one. When you got one that say you work 12 dogs at one time, you know, everybody that's surrounding that circle, go back to alternative school. You know, when you got brothers who talk about they was bulldogging in the 90s, and they wasn't bulldogging in the 90s, and they can't verify that they had any of these dogs from the 90s, you know, with a story, give a story, you know, and they done been busted with dogs and all kind of shit, and they still don't want to give their story. Something ain't right. You know, something ain't right. I don't deal with it. I just get up here and talk my talk the way I talk my talk and don't give a damn how they feel. You know what I'm saying? Don't give a damn how they feel. It's like, truthfully, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Buck City is at the bottom of the barrel. You know, when it comes to any of these dog channels. You know, everybody that's doing these dog channels, no matter who it is, Cinco, brother Samurai them with their channels, Big Hill Fam, dog documentary, anybody, man. You know, the brothers that's doing the training, you know, anybody, they doing something with the dogs. Buck City, the only damn channel that he can't thrive off having his own, talking about what he got going on, because he can't. You know, he can't. He copied 7-8 Sports with his style by having a lot of guests and talking about certain things. But see, without the guests and without them little people around him gassing him up, he don't got nothing to talk about. You know, everybody, now that the whole country know he don't got nothing to do with Michael Myers, none of Michael Myers' success that he had. You know, only thing he got something to do with Michael Myers' downfall. You know, now that everybody know that, he go to talk about other shit. Now he talking about Waccamaw. Listen here, when Waccamaw got busted, it was around the same time Buck City got busted. You know, anything, you know, you got more to gain off Waccamaw getting busted Buck City than I do. And that's 100% real, dog. You know, because you've been hating and envying and jealous of Pelican Bay Kennel since the time I started rocking and getting monetized with this dog shit. You know? You've been hating, dog. So how we don't know you didn't send the dog people over there? Because what the police officer said to them brothers was, we got the wrong information. But we here now, we got the dogs, we got to take them. If we would have knew the dogs looked like this, see, this was different from what the police said on the yard, Big Scratch, than what that news article said about the dogs looking malnutrition. The officer himself, not the bad cop, but the man cop, he said, if we knew the dogs looked like this, we wouldn't have came here. But we got them now. You know, we do got a few violations. Them brothers didn't get no dog fighting bust. Them brothers got chain violations and shit like that. You know? That was not a dog fighting bust. It may have supposed to have been, you know, but when they went to court in a few days, all they had was some chain violations. You know what I'm saying? So when you have these folk, and I'm not talking about you, Big Scratch, I'm talking about Buck City now, you know? And I gotta have y'all in different conversations, dog, because you know, straight up dog man. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about the flunky now, you know? And like I said, you ain't do nothing wrong, Big Scratch. I was checking your video out, like I said, when you said about the dogs being malnutritious and stuff like that in the article, you was right, because the dogs didn't look malnutritious. And it only comes from that bad cop that I was telling you about, you know? But anyway, when it comes to, you know, James Elmer Givens Jr., you know, a guy that clearly, you know, don't got nothing to lose. You know, Maul can't, like we said, he in the feds. You know, we don't 100% know what's going on with that whole situation yet. It ain't my thing. I'm just a newsman, you know. And matter of fact, that whole shit just went, it ghost, disappeared. You know, it's something strange going on with that shit with Maul Kent. There's something real strange going on with it. But like I said before, man, it ain't no coincidence. Buck City getting busted 2 times. Every time he got busted, Maul Kent got busted. It ain't no coincidence, man. You know, he keep wanting to do the videos talking about this, but none of that shit don't affect me. None of that shit don't hurt me. You know, I ain't living illegal. I ain't doing shit out there illegal. I ain't living illegal, and I ain't asking nobody to do nothing illegal. And all my homeboys doing legitimate things, legal things. We ain't worrying about no dope. We ain't worrying about no illegal dogs. We ain't worrying about no illegal shit. You know what I'm saying? Doing everything on the right. And the boys get mad too when I say that, man. Big salute to the brothers that's hustling, trying to make a way, do whatever they gotta do. Do whatever you gotta do. Get your money and get out the game. You know what I'm saying? And Master P been told y'all that shit a long time ago. It is what it is. Get it and get out of it, man. It don't last forever. Turn it to something, the right thing, man. But like I always say too as well, y'all ain't in the game today's time that I was in my days, because we didn't have that fentanyl. That's a whole different ball game. You killing your folk out here, man. Y'all brothers out here literally killing folk for dollars, man. You know you selling fentanyl, and you know this shit gonna kill somebody, and you doing this for a few dollars. Yeah, it add up to a lot of money, and you can do this, you can live this way and do that, but come on, man. To the benefits of somebody else losing their life? Come on, man. We in a different ball game. So like I said, man, you got junkies, flunkies, and brothers who be getting caught with drones. You see that man flew that drone over James Elmer Givens' house, DJI drone. He flew that drone over James' house, and they seen him pumping that Red Ryder BB gun. He seen him aimed at that dog, you know, and he caught him more than one time. You know, caught him more than one time. And this is the thing, brothers. You can't tell me that them people didn't get, because they got it on the news article, that they recovered a pellet gun. You telling me that anybody else, I don't care who it is, me, you, him, anybody else, shoot a dog with a pellet gun. It's on camera you shooting a dog with a pellet gun. They recover the pellet gun and they recover the dogs with the pellets in them, along with everything else that link, say he's a dog fighter. And you be out here doing the shit he out here doing now. I told y'all, man, back when I was in the game, it's certain things people do to make you know that something wasn't right with them. Them folk that just keep getting in trouble, keep getting in trouble, keep getting in trouble. They don't care how they moving. They don't care how they moving. Just keep getting in trouble. Just keep getting in trouble. I ain't talking about folk that have a bad luck streak. Some people just have a bad luck streak sometimes. And then they figure out how to move and they straighten their shit out. But you got them folk who just don't care how they move. You know? We always knew what it was with them. You know? You moving that way for a reason. You want to call this name, you want to call that name, this name, that name, you know. But, and like I said before, them folk didn't tell me I couldn't be on social media talking about these dogs. I didn't tell the judge I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Because of common sense, no, for anybody who got common sense down in that chat or watching or listening to this video, common sense, no, anybody that tell the judge that I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do, whatever it is I'm talking about, and then I continue to do whatever I'm doing, I'm automatically investigated. Especially when I'm in the same area. Now let's talk about this. You know when you shoot a dog with a BB gun over and over and over again, you're going to eventually have that dog scared of you. That dog is going to be scared of guns for one, and he's going to be scared of you, like them people said. You know, dogs are scared of them. But just say if you sold that dog to somebody, do you know what that's an accident waiting to happen? Them people don't know nothing about that dog being shot with a pellet gun. When they go to, he might be a type of person like to go hunting, any type of thing, you know. Say you're going hunting, and we used to hog hunting and stuff like that. We don't have the guns with us all the time. And just so happened, we pull out the guns this time when we going hog hunting. With the same pit bull that we done trained to catch these hogs and our bay dogs and all kind of stuff. Now we pull out the gun, it either scares the dog or the dog attacks you because he's used to being shot. Oh, I'm not about to be shot right now. I'm strong, I'm healthy. You know, what is he doing? The last guy to pull out a gun like this around me shot me with a pellet gun. You know, imagine if it's some kids that get the dogs that were shot with pellet guns. You know, imagine if some kids that get this dog, they done adopted out because they're not human aggressive, so they adopted them out. Now these kids pull out pellet guns around them, toy guns around them, fake guns that they done got for Christmas and different things, and this dog attacked them. You know, that's why I always say, man, it's good to rescue these dogs and give these dogs great homes, but never, never, never forget a dog's past can be critical to the dog's future. You know, especially when it's with you. You know what I'm saying? We bring these dogs in around our kids at full grown, when they full grown, and we bring them around little newborns and stuff because they've been gentle for the last year. And like I say, when little Rick get 5 years old and he playing with his toy gun in the house, now this dog that you done had for 6, 7 years flips out because he remember being shot with a pellet gun. You don't even know why he flipped out for, because you don't know nothing about him being shot with a pellet gun. But you got him as a grown dog and rescue. You know, we always have to keep that in mind, man, what these dogs go through in their early lives when they with the people before they be rescued. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know, a lot of times the dog are being taken care of better at the place that they take them from than they do at the rescue a lot of the times. Just like we seen in Newton County. They didn't have no place to take the dogs. You know? So, you know, it don't really make sense for you to take a dog from a home and you don't got nowhere to take them outside of the fact that they was fighting the dogs. I understand that part totally understand it. You know, but just say for instance, they would have went over there and took the dogs with no dog fighting situation, but just neglect small dogs or something, you know, and they just took all the dogs, and now you take them with nowhere to take them to. You gotta put this one over here, you gotta call 5 counties over to get this one over there, you know. So I mean, sometimes, man, you just have to look at it for what it is, though, man. But out here with these dogs, these brothers are real emotional. They really be feminine acting when it comes to these dogs. They really show that they feminine acting. They really show that they really trying to, like I said before, fit in, man. Be yourself. Have your own mind. Think for yourself. Make the moves you need to make thinking for yourself. Don't allow the next person to think for you. If you feel like this is right when it comes to your breeding, make that breeding, man. Don't let somebody else think for you, because you got to find out. You got to spend your money. You got to take care of these dogs. And you know what it's going to take for that dog to get to the top of the pinnacle. You know what I'm saying? If you've never been to the top of the pinnacle, you just got to take step for step for step. You know what I'm saying? Step for step. You know, like I said before, I'm glad I seen other dogs, you know what I'm saying, that was good dogs in other lines, not just the yellow dogs. I seen a lot of great dogs, you know what I'm saying? But I seen dogs that brothers had that were great, that they can work with, that I couldn't do nothing with. You know, these brothers can finesse that because they know how to finesse it. I can't finesse it because I'm used to certain qualities that I'm looking for, certain traits that I'm looking for. And like I always say too as well, man, everybody got different competition they going into. You know, you might have that Eli dog looking good. He looking good, but what kind of competition that stuff going into in that particular area? And it might be a Red Boy Jocko dog. It might be a Jeep dog. What kind of competition in that area where the dog is making his name at, or this bloodline is making his name at, going into? You know, you might be got a bunch of band dogs, UKC, Blues, and Staffordshires in that area. And now you pop up with a Midnight Cowboy dog, just using that as an example. Shorty Cowboy, you know, not Midnight, but Shorty Cowboy dog. And now he's running the set. Just off the strength of there's no competition in that area. And a lot of folk fail to realize how big this country is and how big each state is. Just imagine Texas, man. We use South Carolina all the time. We use say Texas. That's a world of its own when it comes to them dogs. You don't have to leave out of Texas. Just like California. Don't have to leave California to go platinum. Music artists. They don't have to leave California to go platinum. Just make their music in Cali and that's it. Texas. Don't have to leave Texas at all. I'm quite sure every bloodline they looking for is in Texas. Jeep, Red Boy Jocko. You know what I'm saying? Eli, Bolio. Whatever they looking for down there. That shit is big. Now you got 50, 51 states. Each state having their own demographical area and everybody having their own group of dog folk. We've been doing dog talk, dog news, and all kind of shit for so long. We ain't give no dog stories about no South Dakota dog men, North Dakota dog men, Utah dog men. We know the ADBA is in Salt Lake City, Utah, and all that. But we ain't give no bulldog talk about really no Colorado dog men. You know, and we start going up towards. We ain't give no bulldog talk about no Washington State dog men. Only shit we heard about Washington State was what James Elmer Gibbons getting busted with over and over and over and over and trickling back down to mall camp. That's the only thing we heard about Washington State. Other than that, we ain't heard nothing about no dog men from over there. So the country big, man. Brothers bulldog in each one of them states. You know what I'm saying? Imagine the way them areas like Iowa, you know what I'm saying? Iowa and out there in Wyoming and all that stuff, how the land laid out there. You know, and you don't hear about the bulldogging out there. So imagine how many people bulldogging out there. In them cuts, in the woods, out there in the rural areas, bulldogging. But you don't know about it, and because you don't know about it, you feel like they ain't nothing. And back to what I said about a great dog being great anywhere. You know, what if Mr. Ferguson wouldn't have had Centipede? Will he still been the Centipede that we know today? You know, what if Mr. Garner wouldn't have had Well, he got Chinaman from Mr. Romero, from what I heard, I think. All right, but what if he wouldn't have had the Frisco dog, the Chinaman dog? Would they still be as popular as they is today in today's time? You know what I'm saying? And like I said, man, we take too much credit from the person. You know what I'm saying? We take too much credit from the person that got the dog. You know, Champion Fatty that Crossroad had, the Crunch dog that he had, you know, and the other great dogs he had. Would they have been great without being with him? You know, Big John. Would Big John have been the dog that they made him into, the family that they made him into, if they wouldn't have had him? You know, would Bozak be as great if Hardcore wouldn't have had him? You know, Mr. Hardgrove dogs. Would Mr. Hardgrove dogs be good if he wouldn't have had them? All the ones that he made that was real popular and stuff. Would they have been the same dogs and had the same name and been ranked the same way if another person would have had them? Possibly, but if they weren't doing what Mr. Hardgrove was doing or better, then they wouldn't have been. You know, if they wouldn't have been giving them the time he given them, if they wouldn't have been doing at least what he doing or better, then they wouldn't have been the same. No matter how good the genetics is. You know, that's why you're going to always have dog brothers that sat around them squares. You're going to always have brothers that sat around them squares and, oh, I'll take that. I'll take that from you. I'll take that curve from you and take it home and do something with it. Because it's always in all the old school dog brothers' mind that I can do something with that dog. He couldn't do something I can do. I can do something he couldn't do, rather. You know what I'm saying? And no matter how good the other person is, you know what I'm saying, he still feel like if he sees something in that dog, then he know what he can do with it. They may have had the dog shot up too much, you know, like that little country dog I was speaking about at the beginning. That's one of the reasons he went up blind. Went blind the way he went. When you're shooting dogs with all kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying, and they start running hot, that's the effects from different things. You know what I'm saying? It's the difference when you're going natural and running hot, and you're going hot when you got all kind of shit ejected in your ass. You know, I was never no big fan on it, but I never said, I never dealt with dogs with it, you know? But I was never no big fan of it. I'm a natural man. I seen the results, the end results of a natural dog and the end results of a juiced up dog. Once they get to that level where both dogs exhausted, but they still going, and you got them in that corner, and you gotta hope, once their body go limp, well, that's pretty much any dog. Once their body start feeling like it ain't no thump left in them, it don't really make no difference if it's steroids or not, you know. But there's no recovery on the steroid dog compared to the recovery on a natural dog. You know, you work him and you try to work him that way so he can learn how to build up his recovery, and you hope you help him learn how to build up a natural recovery. But, and I'm gonna say it like this too as well. Some brothers know how to do it and some brothers don't. You know, plain out and simple. But with muscles, a lot of brothers, they screw their dog up with too much muscles in a box dog back in them days. Too many muscles gonna have you where you can't get that oxygen where you need to get it to. You know? But hey, man, it just is what it is, man. It is what it is. Like I said, I appreciate y'all rocking with the babe, man. We just doing it on the 23rd, you know, Christmas Eve show. To my brothers and sisters down in the chat, we're gonna do the Christmas Eve tomorrow. You know, we'll be live tomorrow, so y'all tune in, man. Come rock with the babe. And like I said, we'll talk about any bloodlines y'all want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? I ain't one of them channels that I'm gonna talk about your dogs and don't talk about mine, or talk about any of them. We can talk about any of them. You know what I'm saying? I ain't one of them channels that the only thing I can talk about is trolling somebody. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that ain't what I do, dog. I'm a news channel, man. I'm a news channel. You know, and these brothers keeping me with job security out here. You know what I'm saying? They keeping me with job security. And like I say, it ain't no easy road. It ain't no easy task, my brother, talking about what's right when it comes to these dogs. You know, you see it to anybody who is thinking about doing the right things when it comes to these dogs. You see you don't get no kind of support when it comes to doing the right things with these dogs. But like I said, man, to everybody that's trying to elevate in this dog game, no matter how they trying to do it, big shout out to you, man. Much support to you. I hope you do your thing. You know, it's gonna be a lot of haters out here. You know, a lot of haters, man. But one thing, I don't let a hater change the way I'm thinking, change what I'm doing, how I'm doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. Like I say, they get rolled over, man. They get rolled over, and the more you do right, the more haters you're gonna get. And when I say right, I don't mean right with the dogs. I mean the more you do right in life, period. The more they don't understand. Everybody wants you to be stuck in this bubble. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants you to be, and that's why I learned the difference between up north, my New York brothers, and down south. Way back in the 90s, I learned this. Down south, everybody want to be the same. Everybody wants you to be the same. If you're not the same, if you're not wearing the same clothes, you're not dressing the same, you're not wearing the same shoes, everybody wants you to be the same down south. This is in the 90s. You know, wherever little city you in, not talking about the whole South in general, like South Carolina got to be like Texas. No, South Carolina, everybody got to be the same. Texas, everybody got to be the same. Louisiana, everybody got to be the same. You go to New York, you got millions of people, everybody got different styles. And I learned this in the 90s. Everybody dressing and doing different things. You know what I'm saying? He dressing like this, he wearing these kind of shoes, he doing this, he doing that. It's just different, dog. It's just different. And that's how the dog game is. A lot of folk want you to think like them, be like them. You know, do your own thing, man. Keep elevating. Everybody do the right thing, the positive things out here with these dogs. Knock them haters off. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't deal with dogs, you don't rock with dogs, period. You're going to have haters. When you get that man that girl jealous of you about, you're going to have haters. When you get that girl, them fellas jealous of you about, you're going to have haters. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have players, people, some of your listening partners, some of your friends going to hate on you on the low, right? You got that girl that they want. Like I told you before, a lot of them boys, they got money and they ain't got no game. You know what I'm saying? They got money, but they can't get the girl without the money. They can't just talk to her and she understand their story, or they might be intimidated by her, you know, and because she wasn't impressed on their money, they kind of intimidated. You know, she may have her own money, you know. So when you get the girl, and now then your friends, what they'll do is try to hate on you on the side. You know, either tell you ways that she doing this or she doing that, or they'll be trying to fuck on the side. You know what I'm saying? Or either trying to make it look like big them now, get around her and be like big them and little you. You know, when they didn't have the courage to holler at her from the rip. You know, do what y'all doing, no matter what it is, man, out here, man. You going to school, go to school. You don't know how many people you gonna have that's gonna tell you, oh, man, don't go to school. What you going to school for? What you going to do this for? Man, do what you gonna do, man, and just make positive moves from it. You want to be a dog trainer, man. Just make positive moves from it. You want to be a podcaster, do it. You know, I'm not gonna let somebody tell me I can't do it or I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? How I gotta do it. You know, and you do the same thing, my brothers and my sisters, man. Y'all stay safe out there. Y'all stay legal out there. And remember where you get it from, man. Remember where you get it from, fair, uncut, raw, and unbiased. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button, man, if you want that dog news, if you want that dog talk raw and uncut, if you keep wanting that dog talk raw and uncut, hit that like button up out there, man. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. They don't like it, but I don't give a damn. PB K9s on the PBC, and I'm out.